It is June 1944. For 4 years, darkness has enveloped Western Europe, but now the armed forces of the United States, Free France, Great Britain, Canada, and Free Poland stood poised to launch the greatest amphibious invasion in world history. By air, sea, and land, the Allied expeditionary forces would cross the English Channel and seize a foothold on the European continent, from where they would advance until final victory in Berlin. The supreme commander of the Allies was a 53-year-old American general, born in Texas and raised in Kansas, Dwight David Eisenhower. On the eve of battle, he addressed his forces.
Soldiers, sailors, and airmen of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
Just after midnight, 6 June, anti-aircraft fire slashes across the blackness of Normandy as a tremendous aerial armada of transport aircraft roar overhead, discharging tens of thousands of paratroopers. Their formations scattered in the confusion of battle, men land seemingly in every possible location. Searching for friendly soldiers, small bands of paratroopers form up to seize objectives inland, which are critical to the success of seaborne landings. As the paratroopers enter chaotic running gun battles with German troops, out in the English Channel, soldiers check weapons, attach upwards of 60 pounds of ammunition and equipment to their persons, and clamber down cargo nets into landing craft bouncing around in choppy seas. Between the rumble of engines, shouts of orders, and clanking of equipment is mixed a smell of cigarette smoke, diesel exhaust, salt air, musty canvas, nausea, and fear. Some men have never heard a shot fired in anger, and yet the supreme hour is upon them. Some men pray, others clutch lucky talismans, while still others peer out in the gray dusk to the darkened shoreline in the distance. Farther east of the American landing beaches at Omaha and Utah, Canadian forces head ashore at Juno Beach. British forces head to Gold and Sword Beaches. In the landing craft of the first wave at Sword Beach are a group of 177 Free French commandos, led by the indomitable Capitaine de Corvette Philippe Kiefer. For the men of Commando Kiefer, the invasion is deeply personal. As the landing craft chug in the surf toward the shores, medium and heavy bombers high aloft drop thousands of tons of bombs on enemy defenses. Naval artillery and rocket ships unleash a thunderous wall of steel and explosives shoreward. It is hoped that the fire will destroy beach obstacles and provide protective cover on the shoreline for the infantry forces. Months of careful planning, training, and rehearsals orchestrated by Eisenhower's headquarters have attempted to prepare the invasion forces for everything. But even the best laid plans can and will go awry. As the ramps of the landing craft drop down, heavily armed men wade ashore on a foreign land. For those soldiers in the first wave, the scene before them is not what they expected. Enemy beach obstacles, bunkers, and pillboxes are largely intact. In the smoky air, Thousands of pairs of eyes gaze at the landing soldiers. Loading their weapons, they choose their targets and take aim. Bullets and exploding shells pelt every inch of the sand. Explosions, screams, shouts, roaring engines, splashing waves, smoke, fire, and confusion. Radio communications with the invasion fleet are limited. Tank and naval gunfire support is at first sporadic. Casualties begin to mount. There are but two kinds of men on the beach, those who are dead and those who are about to die. To get off the beach, the men must clear a breach in the enemy's defenses. Eyes frantically scan everywhere for demolition charges and Bangalore torpedoes. The entire Bangalore torpedo was a 50-foot-long steel tube packed with 90 pounds of explosives. Soldiers had to assemble 10 sections of the tube together by hand while the enemy did his part to prevent the process. Once complete, the torpedo would be positioned under barbed wire and the fuse lit. Despite the roar of battle, a cry rang out, heard by everyone. As the sand and the smoke clears, the wire is reached. The way off the beach is clear. Forward, forward, scanning for mines, looking for cover. There, sighting cover. The SWAT leader signals his men to set up a defensive position. The lull in the fighting offers critical time to treat casualties, check weapons and equipment, and pause to realize that they are alive and ashore in France. June through July, the fighting in Normandy is hard, bloody, and slow. The formidable hedgerows and tenacious defenses are preventing the Allies from exploiting their advantages and mechanized forces to break out into open country and move on Paris. With British General Bernard Montgomery holding back panzer divisions at Caen, American General Omar Bradley crafts a plan to use heavy bombers to blast a half-a-mile hole in the German lines near Saint-Lô. While risky and unorthodox, the plan works. By the start of August, the Allies have broken out of Normandy. The Germans are in retreat, and the road to Paris is open. On August 15th in Paris, the metro workers and police go on strike. By the 18th, more workers in the city are striking. Back on June 5th, British radio broadcast a message to the French resistance. Laisse mon cœur, d'une langue monotone. Code to commence sabotage operations against the fascist occupiers. Now, with the fate of Paris in the balance, the resistance forces in the city seize their arms and rise up. Gun battles break out around the city as resistance barricades and checkpoints appear. On the 24th, French General Philippe Leclerc orders a vanguard force of the 2nd Armored Division to enter the city. That night, the tanks, half-tracks, trucks, and jeeps of the division reach the center of Paris.
She loved a sailor boy, he was only...
the afternoon of the 25th, the German occupiers surrendered to General Leclerc. That same day, General Charles de Gaulle, leader of the Free French forces, returns to the city he had to leave 4 years before. De Gaulle, together with American General Omar Bradley, on behalf of the American 4th Infantry Division, are greeted with joyous shouts, kisses, and the warm embrace of freedom. General de Gaulle, President of the Provisional Government of the French Republic, speaks to his citizens.
Depuis que l'ennemi qui occupait Paris a capitulé face à nos forces, la France a retrouvé Paris, son foyer. Elle revient ensanglantée, mais déterminée. Elle revient éclairée par cette immense leçon, mais plus assurée que jamais de ses devoirs et de ses droits. Vive la France!
Our first ally, France, came to South Carolina. And from that, we were liberated. And from that, now we can celebrate 80 years of liberation again by our mutual friendship and association. And it's never been more important. And it's never been more important as I look out and see the Statue of Liberty, again, a reflection of the love and affection between the people of America and France, but also the flag of Ukraine. And it's something that we never imagined, and that is another land war in Europe. Has never before been more united as we stand for liberty and freedom together today. God bless you. Vive la France.
As we join in commemorating the end of World War II in Europe, it gives me great pleasure to welcome you to the residence of France for this early celebration of the 80th anniversary of D-Day. We choose this day because we know and we are very pleased that some of you will be in Normandy on June 6th to once again celebrate the strong ties between our two nations.
We wanted to honor and express our gratitude to each and every soldier, man and woman, who contribute to the liberation of France, the greatest generation. I especially want to acknowledge and thank several of the heroes who were associated with the reenactment. Stephen Melikoff, Donald Cobb, George Cross, Harold Radish, Alistair Brown, Buddy Reynolds, and Henry Meadows. I think we deserve a round of applause. I would like to acknowledge the presence of the granddaughter of Ike Isadora, Suzanne.